So I was reading an editorial in the New York Times this morning about Congresswoman Omar's tweet that has taken so much criticism. By that, I'm talking about her response to a tweet from journalist Glenn Greenwald, who incidentally is Jewish, when he was talking about this is so convoluted. The minority House leader, so the Republican leader in the House, is Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy has a background of making what I would view to be pretty baldly anti-Semitic public statements, talking about George Soros, this whole puppet master metaphor that I've talked about before in these videos, these anti-Semitic tropes that go way, way back, are something that this Kevin McCarthy has employed recently. In fact, he was heavily criticized for doing it right after George Soros had been sent a mail bomb through the post. And McCarthy went and talked about Soros stealing the election. So it was quite ironic that Kevin McCarthy was then accusing a couple Democratic congresspeople of being anti-Semites. Glenn Greenwald then tweeted about that, saying, "Oh well, why is it that American politicians are trying to stop other politicians from speaking out loud in order to benefit a foreign country, Israel?" So Representative Omar then tweeted back, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby." And somebody said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, AIPAC, which is a lobbying group backed by the Israeli government, which does have a lot of influence in Congress. Now, I don't find anything inherently anti-Semitic about what Representative Omar tweeted. I think she was acknowledging the fact that this is a lobby that has influence in Washington, and it does. And yet, for some reason, she's not permitted to say that. It's a dangerous thing for a politician to say anyway, because a lot of people conflate Israel and Jews as though they are the same thing. If you criticize Israeli government policy, then you're being anti-Semitic, which is preposterous, of course. But in this case, Representative Omar has apologized. And I understand that if a narrative has emerged that you've tweeted something anti-Semitic, and everybody, virtually everybody in the mainstream media is agreeing with that, then the perception is out there that you've said something anti-Semitic. And so she felt like she needed to apologize for that. And I understand that. But what I don't understand is people suggesting that it is unacceptable for her to say something that would be less unacceptable if it were said by somebody not wearing a headscarf, someone who is a Muslim. And as an example of that, I will point to an editorial in the New York Times this morning written by someone saying, well, yes, AIPAC is an influential lobby, but surely Congresswoman Omar must have realized when she acknowledged that it would raise the specter of all this historical blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there reading this thinking, hang on, you're criticizing her for saying something which you are acknowledging is true in writing in a national newspaper. So it was clearly okay for you to say that. Why was it not okay for Representative Omar to say that? I wonder. It doesn't seem right to me. I'm very disappointed that Nancy Pelosi has sort of piled on and called it anti-Semitic. It's disappointing when your own side is being unfair to someone. And in this case, I believe that's what's happening. I don't think it's right. And I think there's a really disgusting irony in so many people on the right and the left criticizing the treatment of women in the Islamic world. And then we have a real, actual Islamic woman, not some imaginary caricature from your brain, but a real Muslim woman, and these people can't stop telling her to shut up. Is there no irony that they can sense with that? It's not right to tell her that she is not allowed to express what other people are allowed to express simply because she is somebody that we are afraid hates Jews. Somebody who is came to this country as a refugee from Somalia, is a Muslim woman who dresses in traditional Muslim headscarves and has every right to speak her mind as much as anyone else. This has all been really disappointing. And I would go further, because anti-Semitism is real and it is an actual problem. And when you get the most high-profile anti-Semitic story over the last 12 months, perhaps, is this, how does that help? To me, that just completely undermines any sort of effort to try to tackle this issue, which is real. I don't get it. It's very disappointing. It's unfair. And I'm quite disappointed in some people that I ordinarily look up to. So that's my 2 cents. I'm sorry it's so negative today, but it's unjust, and it's frustrating to me that people don't seem to be acknowledging that. Even people that are normally on my side of the political equation are just la 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 la. So that's where I am with this today. Thank you for listening.